Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new video. And in this video we're going to be talking about who would win between the Monsterverse and the Sonic Movie 3 characters. And the only characters we're using from Sonic 3 is Super Sonic and Super Shadow. And we're going to see these two characters in their super forms try to attack and defeat the Monsterverse Kaiju. And the only titans we're going to use from the Monsterverse is Godzilla, Ghidorah, and Shimo. The reason why we're not adding titans like Kong, Scar King, or Mechagodzilla because they'll have been taken out easily, and we seen what Super Sonic did to the Death Egg robot in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and that would end badly for Mechagodzilla. But with all that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. First, starting off with the King of the Monsters, Godzilla. Throughout the novelization of Godzilla x Kong, it mentions that Godzilla evolved is 20 times stronger than his base form. But in the movie, we didn't really see that exact full power since he was going lightly on Shimo. I mean, there was supercharged Godzilla, but like I mentioned in my Godzilla versus Shimo video, the atomic breath on Supercharge is not really that effective, and plus Super Sonic and Super Shadow literally stopped the beam from the Eclipse cannon. I mean, by all the nuclear radiation Godzilla has absorbed, there could be a chance that Sonic might be knocked out of his super form, because in the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie, the heat was overtaking Super Sonic to the point where he just went back to his base form. So yeah, the only possible way Godzilla could win against Super Sonic if he was supercharged technically. And then Super Shadow actually lasted longer to push the Eclipse cannon away from Earth. And you might be asking, can the super forms punch a hole into Godzilla? Well, hypothetically, no, because that's where durability comes in. He literally survived getting shot down from the surface world to the hollow earth. And he also survived getting dropped by Ghidorah from the stratosphere. And survived the major hit from Mechagodzilla's proton scream. And he survived getting impaled by the Mutos. And yes, he was actually getting stabbed in the scene. And he survived many, many more. And looking at this, thermonuclear might actually destroy Super Sonic and Super Shadow. Not only there will be thermonuclear radiation everywhere, it's just that his thermal pulse, if he lets it out, Sonic and Shadow are going to be knocked out of their super forms from that one thermal pulse. See, if Godzilla was in his base evolved form, the only way he could possibly win against Super Sonic and Super Shadow is supercharged Godzilla. And if he was in his base form fighting these two, he needs to go thermonuclear. So now moving on to the three-headed demon, aka King Ghidorah. A titan that causes thunderstorms wherever he goes. Because the gravity beams could give Sonic and Shadow a hard time, or maybe not, since Super Sonic and Super Shadow are just chaos energy. But the gravity beams, I want to say Super Sonic and Super Shadow will get affected like that. Or Ghidorah could try to drain their power like he did to Godzilla, but he would pretty much make a worthy fight for Super Sonic and Super Shadow, and plus he came from outer space. Or he could use the same energy from that cell phone tower and use the pulse to blind them, I guess. And it is mentioned in Godzilla King of the Monsters that Ghidorah can swallow men and gods alike, so Super Sonic and Super Shadow might be in huge trouble here. And for durability, he survived Godzilla's atomic breath, and he survived the oxygen destroyer, and he was able to regrow his head back, so I don't want to say Super Sonic and Super Shadow would do permanent damage. So I'm gonna have to give this an extreme difficulty for Ghidorah. Now moving on to the Ice Queen herself, Shimo. And Shimo could cause a lot of trouble too. And let me explain. I mean, if Super Sonic and Super Shadow just charged at her on purpose, she could literally shoot the Frostbite blast and it'll freeze literally both of them. Or if they try to stop the blast like they did with the Eclipse cannon, it could be to the point where they turn it to an ice circle. And for durability, she survived a lot of attacks from Godzilla. I mean, Super Sonic and Super Shadow also has durability from punching each other across the world, and Super Shadow being uppercutted to the moon. But looking at the results, this is morally going to end up like the Superman versus Godzilla fight from that one comic. And I know Shadow has been frozen for literally like 50 years, but Sonic on the other hand would have already been frozen, and he wouldn't be able to take that kind of attack from an Ice Titan. I mean, she could freeze their super forms, but it will lead them back to their base forms eventually, because I know their super forms don't really last that long. So I'm giving it a high mid difficulty for Shimo. So put your own opinion in the comments, and this will be it for the video. Like and subscribe. Love you guys, and peace out.